right, YouTube, if y'all are hearing this, you're getting this a little first. I'm going ahead and starting this, doing more live streaming to YouTube as well, so I can get the content out to you all, right? So just keep that in mind. So I'm about to go ahead and get this kicking off over here on Facebook as well. Gotta have some tunes on here, usual. So let's do this. Like this track a little better. There we go. Alright, so Facebook. We about to rock and roll. Hey. Alright, so as y'all come in, tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing kicking off a couple minutes early, but I'm gonna give y'all the goods today. Talking about whether cold outreach is the thing to do, whether cold outreach is a smart move, and whether or not it actually may be the move that some of y'all need to be making over paid ads. Put in your question. Of course, if you're on YouTube, just throw it in the comments, and I'll make sure I catch it. Okay, so with that all being said, again, the only payment I ask for with these, y'all hit that share button and spread the word with a friend, a family member, or an enemy. And we're gonna go ahead and get started with the live episode here. We are let's set the record straight, and let's talk about whether cold outreach or ads are the move you should be making. Let's go ahead and chat. All right, y'all. Welcome to this edition of the Automation Mastery Podcast. I am your host each and every week, the Justin, the Morgan. I know I'm not that important, but I figure it's funny to do that. Always wanted to. Anyway, I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. Make sure y'all share this with a friend, a family member, or a foe, because they need this information too. Make sure y'all share, subscribe, follow, all of that jazz, because all that stuff motivates me to keep all this amazing stuff coming. And of course, I'd like y'all to be a part of the conversation, and the best way y'all can be a part is to share and to comment, so that way I know y'all are with me and that we are talking about things that matter to you. Today's topic about cold outreach. So a few things we're going to cover today. What is cold outreach exactly? Like, what does that actually mean? Is it better than running ads? Why you should or should not do it? And is it possible? Is it actually possible to automate cold outreach? So we're going to cover all that stuff in today's episode. All right, we're going to cover all that stuff in today's episode. So again, if y'all have any questions about this topic as we hop into it, again, just let us know in the comments. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do, and then of course, leave me a question. This is an episode where we're talking about whether or not you're leaving money on the table. Because when I talk about cold outreach, build your website and you feel super annoyed. Right? Super annoyed. Like, it drives you nuts. But for each and every time one of you get annoyed by one of those emails, there's somebody out there getting a client, making a purchase, making a buy based off of that. Think about how many times you may have got a coupon in the mail, some mailer that you received, and you did actually check out the company. Maybe it was super timely. Maybe it was time for you to get some work done around the house. Like, I can tell you for us, right? So we're planning on getting some renovations done to the house. And I was actually checking the mailer to see if there was they send a packet they send an envelope full of different advertisements in there from a bunch of different companies. And I mean, you can ask my wife. I'd open it up and I'd start sorting through to see if there's anybody that was going to do the renovations that we were looking for. And sadly, we couldn't find anybody that fit the bill. But had we found someone, they would have got our phone call, and that would have been considered cold outreach. So this idea that cold outreach doesn't work is or isn't a thing is a misnomer, because you've made purchases because somebody reached out to you cold. It has happened, right? It has happened somewhere in your life because there's something or some company you don't know about, or some service you don't even know that you need, that you ended up buying. Like it's just a matter of time before it happens or when it happens, right? It's just a matter of time. So cold outreaching and contacting people who may need your service before they've actually displayed any interest in what you need. Okay, so that can be a problem, a challenge for some people, but it is a part of business. So that's one. That's cold outreach. Now the question is, here's the $1 million question. Is it better than running ads? Is cold outreach better than running ads? It's a question everybody is going to have. And the answer is not necessarily. Full disclosure, I run ads, I'm running ads, and I will always run ads. So this is not one of those things where I'm about to talk about one thing, but then I don't do the other things. Like it's not that. Right, this is not one of those. When you see that ad, it's like, hey, here's my ad about how bad ads are and how you should use this other strategy. Right, it's not that. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about this from the standpoint that yes, I do run ads, but is it better? For some people, yes, it definitely is better. But here are the reasons why it could be better. One, ads can get expensive. So if you're not great at running ads, like it's not your expertise, you're just not great at it, you can't afford to go get the help that you need and the training that you need or the money you have to weather the storm of learning, then ads may not be the move, right? It just may not be the thing for you. I'm not going to tell you that it is even when it's not. Like it just may not be the thing for you. But what makes cold outreach great is that no matter what your budget is, you can always do it. No matter, as long as you have some time to sit down on a computer, and if you have the right technique together, an approach together, it is always something that you can do. Right? Cold outreach is always something that you can do. You can do it from your phone, you can do it from your laptop, you can do it from your computer. Heck, you can do it walking around on the street if you want. Of course, that would be anti-automation, but that is something that you can do. That is something that you can do. And I know the rest of you are like, wait, but cold outreach isn't really automated like ads are. Hold on. We're going to talk about some things here. Okay, we're going to talk about some things here. But is cold outreach better than ads? In some contexts, yes. Some contexts, no. So again, it just really depends. And so now the question is, should you do it? Should it be something that you do and you commit to and that you spend your time and energy and effort doing? Is cold outreach something that you should pursue? And again, it depends on where your business is. So here is my suggestion. Like honest suggestion. If you make if you a high ticket, you sell high ticket stuff, then cold outreach is a little more worth it. So you can run ads too. But for cold outreach can take some time. It's not easy, right? It's going to take some time. And so having something that is a little bit more expensive, or at least something mid-ticket, makes that time and energy more worth it. Because you don't want to do a bunch of cold outreach to sell your $20 book. It just doesn't feel good. But if you want to do cold outreach to sell your $2,000 retreat, then that's another thing, right? It makes more sense. Or if you want to do cold outreach to sell your free thing that then sells the bigger platform, that's a thing there. But we're not going to get to that right today. But that is a way. So if you have a higher ticket thing somewhere in your business, cold outreach can work. If you are sweet with email and messaging and how you just have that certain intuitiveness to know what to say, when to say it, and how to say it via text, then cold outreach is for you. Now, ads are for you too, but there's just a certain group of, so when I was on YouTube, when I was heavy on my other YouTube channel, I got really good at asking the right questions in comments. It just, I don't know what it was. I picked up this knack. It was intuitive in terms of what to say, how to say it, on what channels. It was just a knack that I picked up. It's hard to teach. It's hard to replicate. It's hard to duplicate. It's just a thing. It's more of that it factor. That same thing happens with cold outreach. First off, you got to be good with research. So if you're willing to go out and do research on the people that you want to contact, then that's very important. And it's something you can do, then that also contributes to whether or not this is a strategy for you. But there's a certain knack, like it's just a certain it, that if you have it and you get good at formulating emails, messages, but then also when you look over some trying to identify what problems they have, you have a knack for where they are and what to say to them. When you develop that muscle, it makes cold outreach amazing, because it just becomes this thing where you reach out to someone and it's almost like they were waiting for you, right? Like it was almost like you were the prayer that they had and just wasn't sure where it was going to come from. That's what good cold outreach feels like. It's like you're answering a prayer for somebody. Really. Okay, so there's that. And then lastly, when it comes to whether you should do it or not, it's super important. So when you run ads, it's important to have an idea what your avatar is. When you do cold outreach, it is uber important for you to know who you're targeting, because that it factor I was talking about, that only happens when you fully understand, you fully know who you need to speak to. But if you don't know who you need to reach out to, you're going to waste a lot of time, money, energy, and effort. And so this is one of those cases where the niches and the riches kind of thing pays off for you, because you want to spend your time on a unique set of people that don't normally get heard. They don't normally have solutions. They've been having a problem for forever. And so you come out of the sky and you say, hey, got a solution for you, by the way. Makes them very happy. It's like, finally. And it makes your life a lot easier. Now, the last part of cold outreach and why it is a feasible option for you. It is possible to automate. Huh? But I got to research people. Yes. So it's not as fully automated as running an ad every day. But here's what you could do. The most work so there's a couple aspects to it. One, you can use a proper system. So again, if you want to check out our system, make sure you go to automatewithease.com. Again, that is automatewithease.com. Because in our system, okay, it allows us to set up funnels and workflows that send out emails. Now, what's beautiful is you can set up a series of emails that are specific to the demographic, to the psychographic, to the avatar that you're targeting, which is why it's important to have really, really identified who you want to help. Because what you can do is you can formulate some standard emails that can be sent out to that particular professional segment of the market that feels unique to them, but really is still a cookie cutter email. And so that's the difference, right? So when you really focus on who you want to target, you can make what is generic to you look specific to them. So that's the beauty of it. So you set up a system with some triggers and some automated workflows that send out automated emails, text messages, even triggers you to call them. Now, the other part, of course, is doing the research. Now, the beauty is once you have the system in place, you then do the research And you're really just focusing on, once you find somebody, you stick their contact information in the system, boom, it goes ahead and it starts to contact them, right? And when they respond to you, you can get reminded and everything. Okay, we can do that. Also, I have a platform that allows me to easily go search for the people in the space I want to serve. So coaches and speakers, yes, you. I have a way of finding you. If you have a business out there, I can get your info. I can take that information, like take a spreadsheet of it, upload it into my software, and the software does all the work. So really, I log into this. So here's the timing, right? I can log into the system, put in some search terms. Your name will pop up on a list. I export said list. I upload said list. And then the system does the work. Now, you have to build out the system. That takes some time. It's not easy. But when you do that, again, it is now semi-automated because you took something that would have been an extremely long process and you've now condensed it into a smaller thing. Now, do y'all have to do it this way? No. You can go out there and you go on Upwork, you can go on Fiverr, you go on Freelancer, and you can go hire somebody to do this stuff for you. You can go hire somebody to research targets for you if you want to leave that to them. I don't know that you want to do that immediately, but it's a thought, right? So that's if you really want to be hands off, that's a simple way to do it. And you just have them plug the contacts into the system. Now, if it's really a sweet system, you can log in and just have the conversation back and forth inside of the system instead of have them manage your email inbox and clutter that up. Again, automatewithease.com. All right, so there you go. That is why cold outreach is a method that you should consider. Comment. Make sure you share this with a friend, a family member, or even an enemy because they need this information too. I appreciate you and all that you do. And as usual, treat each day as a building block to a better future. Peace.